They also are doing something a little different on the side with ahistorical, ridiculous, nonsensical pieces of, I don't even want to call it information.
You know, these people want put porn in schools. They'll say, that's not true. I'll be like, let me play the video for you.
They are the ones who are quite literally trying to indoctrinate children. Congress is back, and I love the chaos unfolding.
Let me read an excerpt from that. Quote, I got a new strap-on harness today. I can't wait to put it on. It will fit
It's on C-SPAN, okay? This is on C-SPAN.
my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot.
I'm sorry. Coming out of that pause was so perfect.
Perfectly. You're going to look on. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. It will fit my favorite dildo perfectly. You're going to look so hot. I can't wait to have your in my mouth. I'm going to give you the job of your life. Then I want you inside of me.
Oh, God. This is so fire. The clip was about a book that Dim Tool tried to use against Emma when she went on his show.
Like, he's been doing this to people with a ton less power than me, right? To a random teacher or somebody who doesn't have a platform to speak out and say, this is clearly not my intention or what I said. But he turned that on me because I embarrassed him so thoroughly and I made him into a joke.
I do not believe we will convince Emma or anyone at the Majority Report or any liberal or leftist of any of our positions, but I don't care. What I think is important is that we produced a show where Emma said that she wanted children to be able to watch porn at the age of 10 years old. And so I'm like, I don't need you to argue that point to me. I don't care. What I need to do is when I'm talking to my friend from back home in Chicago who's telling me it never happened, I'm going to play that clip of me being like, we should not be showing a book to children that contains blowjobs, and have this person on the left say, we should, and it's fine, and they're okay with it. And I'm like, that's all I needed. I needed for you to say it so I can prove to people you believe these things. So they can, I'm like, you're allowed to believe that, and she did, adamantly defend kink education and pornography for children. And I'm like, you can absolutely be on board with it. I'm not telling you to stop believing any of that. I think it's disgusting. I just need you to say it. Say it right there to the camera for everyone to watch, so that finally, when I go to my friend and say, you know, these people want put porn in schools, they'll say, that's not true. I'll be like, let me play the video for you. Let me show you the clip where and then here's the book. And now they'll be like, oh, I guess they do support those things.
And the fact that he has to say, which is laughable, with all due respect, that Emma is a pedophile is an indication of just how much his fifis have been hurt by her not sticking around and having sushi and looking at his cool
skate park.
Now, not only have Republicans successfully banned a shit ton of books, and Republican-backed interest groups like psychotic Christian right-wing groups have banned books all the time, they also are doing something a little different on the side. They're also working on indoctrinating children with ahistorical, ridiculous, nonsensical pieces of, I don't even want to call it information, in the form of Prager University videos, okay? Prager University kids videos are now being shown in the state of Florida, officially, and also the state of Oklahoma, okay? So they are the ones who are quite literally trying to indoctrinate children with ahistorical facts. Future generations are never responsible for our sins of the past. One responds that she won't feel guilty about historical
no matter
stuff.
How hard we work, sadly, there is still often mistreatment and racial discrimination towards us Black Americans.
We're really sorry that you have to deal with segregation and racism.
Your sympathy is nice, Layla, but know that you have nothing to be sorry about. You and Leo have done nothing wrong and have indeed been quite respectful. Future generations are never responsible for the sins of the past.
Okay,
Okay, yeah, like some random 7-year-old white kid is not responsible for chattel slavery, okay? But like the issue is denying its consequences. That's what the issue is. This is a wild video to make. Holy they've completely made up things. Like they've just made up the idea that like teaching children accurate history is going to make them flare up their white guilt, and that's bad. They're going to feel wrong for what white people have done, and they're going to feel bad about it, and they're actually feeling really bad about it. So now we have to do a counter propaganda towards those children feeling bad, which is hilarious. It's like, no, man, it's so stupid. That's not how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to understand, examine history, recognize the accurate telling of it, okay? And then, you know, see the impact of, see the contemporary impact of wrongs in the past.
I'll keep doing my best to treat everyone well and won't feel guilty about historical stuff.
Good. It's true.
Mr. Columbus, but I heard at school that you spoiled paradise and you brought slavery and murder to peaceful people.
Leo?
Sorry. It's what I read and heard at school.
Caramba! Those are some accusations.
He looked at he looked at them and they were like, Caramba, it's time to cut your ear off and bring it back to the queen. He's like, oh, a young boy. I want your ears. I will cut them off. That's awesome.
The place I discovered was beautiful, but it wasn't exactly a paradise of civilization, and the native people were far from peaceful.
Oh my God, they were defending themselves, brother. What the Yo, look at this whole ass. Oh my Lord. Christopher Columbus so extremely brutal that he was considered insane and a total lunatic even in his day. Like, yeah. The other people that sent them off on missions to do colonialism were like, dude, you're doing it too much. You're doing it too wrong. You're doing it in a way that we don't like even. And we want you to do it. That's the are you doing?
Welcome to Los Angeles, the second most populous city in the USA and the heart of sunny Southern California. Over the last 150 years, Los Angeles, or LA for short, has been a beacon of growth, offering opportunity for millions of residents. But this rapid expansion of
Los Angeles, or LA for short. I forget that this is for children, even though, or children-brained adults. Los Angeles, or LA for short. Love this. I'm assuming this is going to be about how big cities are full of gangs and criminals now. And this is, of course, a much better thing to teach children than, I don't know, an objective analysis of the impacts of slavery. Like hysterical propaganda that impacts the brain of every boomer being taught to children as the truth seems like a good idea to do this.
Of people and culture has also come with some growing pains. And when tensions turn to violence, Angelenos must rely on a strained police force for protection. This is Mateo, the 13-year-old son of Mexican immigrants living in Los Angeles. Mateo's parents, Juan and Lucy, moved here just a few years before he was born. They operate a small convenience store that serves a largely Hispanic neighborhood. Mateo attends the local public school where his favorite subjects are math and PE. On Sundays, he attends Mass with his family at the nearby Catholic church. Before immigrating to Los Angeles, Juan and Lucy run a small general store in Mexico. They worked hard to make their business successful, but cartel members began harassing Juan, demanding money for protection.
What the fuck? Bro, what is happening?
The threats got so bad that Juan and Lucy decided to embark on the long and expensive process of applying for a U.S. green card.
Which they, of course, didn't fucking get, because that's not how this shit works, okay? Who the fuck in America is giving green cards out like that to random people in Mexico? Get the fuck out of here. This hit every, They applied for a green card and could not win the lottery, so they proceeded to wait for 75 years.
Their application was finally accepted. They moved to Los Angeles and found a large, welcoming community of fellow Latinos. After even more hard work, they were able to open a new grocery store. Soon, Mateo was born, followed by his two sisters, and the family was very thankful for their life in LA. Then, in May 2020, George Floyd, a black man who resisted arrest and was held under the knee of a police officer.
A black man who resisted arrest? Yo! Bro, they are so unhinged, brother.
Died while in custody.
They make it seem like George Floyd just perished on his own. Oh my God.
Although this happened in Minneapolis, Minnesota, fiery protests and riots erupted in cities all around the United States. Activists claimed that the police were targeting the black community and purposefully killing unarmed black men.
This was, of course, a lie.
As the false claims of racial targeting spread, so did the—
Oh my God, did you say that? Oh, bro, this is so funny. I think most people respond negatively to shit that they learn in school because it's otherwise boring. So I feel like this will have the effect of Catholic school on children. For every one child that you brainwash with this, I think you're going to make like 12 communists out of this. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the meme about like Catholic school girls. It's going to backfire. And Catholic school boys too.
The anger and violence. Throughout the summer, Mateo and his family were shocked and worried as they watched on the news where neighborhoods around LA were being burned and looted.
The funniest thing is, like, in Los Angeles, Mateo's family also will often be subject to racial violence. Like, sure, there's a lot of brown cops, there's a lot of black cops in LA. Doesn't change the reality. There's still fucking cops, okay? So if they're worried about something, it's probably gonna be like, dude, saying this about LAPD is especially fucked up. They killed like a 14-year-old brown kid like during all of this commotion. What the fuck? That's so awesome, bro. Who's the scab narrating this? Yeah, I mean, look, if you're poor and you need a job in voice acting, like, how do you not fucking feel kind of gross while you're reading the narration? You're like, oh God, this is so awful.
There's blocking traffic on freeways, threatening police, and intimidating restaurant patrons. How would fewer cops be able to stop this type of behavior? The only cop that Mateo knows personally is his middle school's resource officer, Officer Suarez. Tall and smiling, Officer Suarez has a high five, a handshake, or a fist bump for each student as he walks down the hall.
Yeah, dude. School resource officers are, again, famously friendly to children. Okay, this is written by a person who's like never been at an American school, it seems. And I haven't either, but at least I fucking know, given the data, okay, that it's not like these guys, you can't make these guys look good in the eyes of the children that are going to school. If he's too friendly, then he's trying to fuck the kids, okay? Most of the time, not friendly at all. So either way, it's not good. Who could ever hate a school resource officer? Yeah, literally.
Hallway. Officer Suarez takes time to be friendly, but also has an important job to do. Mateo has observed him doing daily book bag checks and escort.
Yeah, he has an important job to do, which is brutalize, bully, and sometimes arrest some of Mateo's classmates, and also run away when there's a school shooting. You know what I'm saying? I love this. This is normalized too. It's so fucked up. It's fucking wild that this is just like the norm in America, and we just sit around and we're like, yep, it is what it is. You know, that's how it works. Son, if Mateo's school resource officer isn't beating kids, then no kids are being beaten.
Escorting strangers off of school property. Last year, when tempers flared and punches were thrown in the cafeteria, Officer
Suarez went in and beat the shit out of the black kid. Doesn't matter who threw the first punch. Officer Suarez was there to immediately assume the black kid was responsible, and then he came in with his taser.
Suarez sprang into action and quickly defused the situation. Mateo understands that a resource officer is there to keep the students safe so that they can focus on their schoolwork without fear. He views Officer Suarez as a guide, a mentor, and a protector, not how he has seen police characterized in the news as mean-spirited bullies. Mateo has heard his parents talking about the news.
Our school resource officer did stop a school shooting and still everyone hated him. God damn. What the fuck was he doing when he wasn't stopping school shootings that people were still like, nah, fuck you, dude?
Now, when Mateo kneels during mass beside his sisters and parents, he prays for wisdom to know how to protect himself and serve his neighborhood. He smiles as he thinks about the new Blue Crew that he's chosen to support. And how good.
He kneels to suck off a hero cop. Also, this is so, dude, Mateo is kind of lame as fuck. I'm not gonna lie, okay? Like, Mateo is how you get Kyle Rittenhouse.
Marcel and his family are proud Canadians. Marcel's grandpa Henri, who died when Marcel was very young, also spent his life in Canada. After serving in the Canadian...
Is Marcel's grandfather Saddam Hussein? What's going on? Am I crazy? This is Marcel's grandfather. His name is Saddam Hussein, a misunderstood Baathist.